You live imprisoned by your own thoughts, unaware of how they destroy you from within. But what if you could break free from this madness? Break free and become who you truly are. This video is based on the philosophy of Nietzsche and will be interesting and useful for those who are passionate about philosophy or want to get acquainted with it. Well then, let's begin. You fear your own will, like a beast that has slept too long in its cage. You have grown accustomed to begging yourself for change, for peace, for silence, as if these were gifts you were unworthy of receiving. But I tell you that is a lie. Willpower is not a plea. It is the shout of a master breaking free from chains. Command yourself, enough! Let this command ring out like the strike of a hammer shattering stone. Silence the pitiful whispers of excuses. Drown out the roar of empty thoughts. Your mind is a battlefield, and you are its sole commander. Willpower knows no compromise. It tolerates no weakness. It demands clarity. It demands movement. It demands action. Become the one who decides. The one who, with a single word, scatters the chaos. Do not hesitate, do not look back. You are not a slave to your thoughts. You are their creator, and that makes you stronger than them. Seek depth in every moment. You live as if the present is a mere shadow, fleeing before you can touch it, while your mind clings to what was or what could be. But the truth, raw and unyielding, is that there is no before or after. Only this moment exists, and it is screaming for you to look at it. Not glance, not skim, but truly see. Each instant is a vast ocean waiting to be explored. The wind on your face, the flicker of light in a stranger's eyes, the rhythm of your breath, all of it speaks, if only you dare to listen. The depth you seek in books, in dreams, in memories, is already here, woven into the fabric of now. The philosopher does not chase illusions of time. He peels back the layers of the immediate. He sees the infinite in the mundane, the extraordinary in the ordinary. You too can tear through the veil of your distractions and uncover the truth hidden in the details. Dive into this present moment as if it were your only moment, because it is. Do not live as a spectator, trapped in the corridors of your thoughts. Step forward, immerse yourself, and discover that the now is not fleeting, it is eternal. Become the master of your time. Time is not a gift. It is a raw, untamed force, indifferent to your desires. Yet you allow it to slip through your fingers like grains of sand, wasted on idle thoughts, on the illusion of later, on the specter of someday. What is unclaimed becomes consumed, and what consumes your time also consumes your mind. Idle moments are the breeding grounds of chaos. They invite the unnecessary, the trivial, the tormenting echoes of what you cannot control. But you are not a wanderer, lost in the wilderness of wasted hours. You are a creator, a builder, a smith, who forges meaning out of the unshaped ore of existence. Seize your time with the hands of a craftsman. Shape it, bend it, heat it in the fires of purpose until it becomes a weapon, sharp and unyielding against the aimlessness that threatens to dull your spirit. Every task, no matter how small, is an act of defiance, a declaration that your moments belong to you and no one else. But do not merely fill your time, command it. Let your actions carry intention, as a sculptor carves with purpose. Do not squander the power of now. Harness it, dominate it, and transform it into something extraordinary. You are not a slave to the clock, nor to the whims of circumstance. Time is your servant, your raw material, your battlefield. The idle will wither, consumed by the weight of their own inaction, but you will rise, the master of each fleeting second. Your life, your legacy begins in this moment. Take it. Abandon the illusions of excuses. Excuses are the chains you forge for yourself, link by link, while convincing yourself they are shields. You tell yourself these stories, these delicate lies, because the truth is too sharp, too relentless to hold bare-handed. But every excuse you craft is a betrayal, a subtle whisper that says, I cannot, I should not, I will not. What are these thoughts that bind you? They come cloaked in reason, in justification, in the soothing balm of avoidance. Yet, beneath their surface lies the truth. They are parasites feeding on your potential, your courage, your will. To confront them is not a polite conversation, it is war. Ask yourself, with the ferocity of one who has been cheated, why do I need this? Excuse? Let the question tear through the web of lies. Look at it, not with compassion, but with the cold eyes of judgment. Does this thought serve you? Does it build you? Or does it keep you shackled to mediocrity? Excuses are not comfort, they are prisons. They wrap themselves in logic, but their foundation is fear. Fear of failure, fear of effort, fear of the unknown. But fear is meant to be faced, not obeyed. Shatter the illusions. Take each excuse and expose it to the light of your reason. Watch as it crumbles under the weight of your honesty. You are not here to justify inaction. You are here to conquer it. The time for stories is over. The time for raw, unrelenting truth has begun. Stand before your excuses as a warrior stands before an enemy, unyielding, unafraid. Destroy them and reclaim the strength that was always yours. Transform your worries into action. Anxiety is the storm within you, swirling endlessly, feeding on your inaction. It thrives in stillness, in hesitation, in the endless cycle of what-ifs that paralyze your spirit. But you were not born to be a spectator of your own torment. Anxiety is not your master. It is your signal, a call to rise, to move, to create. The energy that fuels your worry is not your enemy. It is raw power, untamed and ferocious, waiting to be directed. When you let it linger, it turns inward, corroding your resolve, your confidence, your sense of control. But when you seize it and channel it into action, it transforms. What once consumed you becomes the fire that propels you forward. Do not mistake your anxiety for weakness. It is a force that demands movement, a relentless push urging you to confront what you fear. To act is to break free from its grip. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a rebellion against the chaos within. Each decision is a victory over the paralysis that seeks to claim you. You are not powerless against your worries. They are not insurmountable. They are your blueprint, showing you where to focus, where to fight, where to grow. Take that energy and use it. Build something with it. Solve, create, move. Do not let it fester and consume you. Let it drive you to become the one who overcomes. Anxiety crumbles in the face of action. When you step forward, it loses its grip, its voice, its strength. Every time you act, you declare to yourself and the world, I am not my fear. I am the one who moves through it. Forge your philosophy of overcoming. There is no greater power than the one you write for yourself. The world will hand you doctrines, rules, and borrowed beliefs, but they are not yours. They are chains disguised as guidance, forged by others to suit their struggles, not your own. To truly overcome, you must create your own creed, a philosophy, born of your pain, your triumphs, your relentless will to rise. Your anxious thoughts are not mere nuisances. They are challenges, riddles posed by the universe to test your resolve. Do not swat them away like flies. Face them as a warrior faces an adversary. Draft your code of life, a manifesto that stands firm against the storms within you. Inscribe it not on paper, but on the walls of your mind, so it becomes your compass in every battle. Let your philosophy be sharp and unyielding, yet flexible enough to evolve with you. Make it a weapon, not a comfort. Let it remind you that every troubling thought is a spark that can ignite your growth. Every fear is a shadow to be illuminated by your reason. Your code must demand discipline, for without it the mind falters. It must summon courage, for without it the spirit collapses. Live by this philosophy as if it were sacred. When doubt whispers in your ear, answer it with the clarity of your creed. When fear rises like a tide, let your code be the rock that holds you steady. In this you will find freedom, not from struggle but through it. To overcome is not to escape, it is to transcend. Write your philosophy with the ink of your experience and the fire of your will. Let it be your guide, your shield, your declaration. To the world that you will not be bent, broken, or silenced. You are the author of your life, and this is your scripture of defiance. Separate yourself from your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. This simple truth holds the key to your liberation. Your mind is a battleground, a tempest of fleeting moments, chaotic impulses, and shifting desires. It churns relentlessly, crafting narratives that bind you, that define you. But you are not these fleeting shadows. You are the observer, the silent witness to the storm within. To believe that you are your thoughts is to live as a servant to them, shackled by their constant noise. You are more than the internal chatter, more than the endless analysis, more than the judgments that rise unbidden. You are the space in which they occur, the stillness behind the storm. Remind yourself of this every moment until it becomes your mantra. I am not my thoughts. I'm not my thoughts. Let this truth echo in the deepest recesses of your being. You are the one who watches, the one who chooses, the one who transcends. Your thoughts may come, but they do not define you. They are transient, like clouds drifting across the sky. They have no lasting power unless you grant it to them. Detach yourself from the illusions that your mind creates. The stories of failure, of inadequacy, of fear, they are not you. They are merely thoughts passing through. You are the eternal observer, the one who remains unchanged, unaffected by the storm. In this separation, you will find your strength. In the recognition that you are the one who directs your focus, that you are not lost in the tide of your own mind, you will find freedom. The thoughts that once controlled you will lose their grip, for you will see them for what they are: temporary, fleeting, insignificant. And in their place, you will stand as the master of your own consciousness. You are not your thoughts. You are more. Rid yourself of why, replace it with how. Why? A question for the weak, the lost, the defeated. It is the cry of the victim, the futile search for meaning in suffering, for an explanation that will never come. Why do you suffer? Why does pain persist? These questions are chains, shackles that keep you bound to your helplessness, to your past, to a reality you cannot change. But you are not here to wallow in why. You are here to transcend, to rise. Why is a question that roots you in the past, in the wounds that have already been inflicted. It keeps you trapped in an endless loop of self-pity, of justification, of defeat. But you are stronger than this. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of your own fate, and the key to your liberation is not found in why, but in how. How can I change this? This is the question of the warrior, the creator, the conqueror. It is not a question that seeks reasons. It seeks action. It demands movement, clarity, and purpose. When you replace why with how, you free yourself from the paralysis of suffering. You stop looking backward for answers that will never come and begin to look forward to the possibilities that only action can bring. The truth is simple. Suffering is inevitable, but it is also transitory if you choose to transform it. The pain you feel can either be your prison or your fire. Every moment of struggle, every ounce of anguish is raw material waiting to be shaped into something greater. The only thing standing between you and your power is your unwillingness to ask how. So stop asking why the world is cruel. Stop asking why your heart aches. Ask instead how you can rise above it, how you can turn your suffering into strength, how you can transform your pain into purpose. In this shift from why to how, you will find not only the answers you seek, but the power to create the life you desire. The question, how, is not a plea. It is a declaration of your will to become, to act, to overcome. And in this declaration, you will find the freedom that has always been yours. Step into solitude, but do not run into the crowd. In a world that demands constant noise, you are expected to drown in the chatter, to seek comfort in the clamor of others. The crowd offers you distractions, endless images and sounds to numb the ache of your own thoughts. Yet in this chaos, you lose yourself. You become a shadow, a reflection of what others want you to be. You are no longer the master of your mind, but a puppet pulled by the strings of outside forces. But there is a space, an empty space, that is yours alone. A place untouched by the demands, the expectations, the noise. It is in solitude that you rediscover yourself. It is in the silence that your thoughts can breathe, unchained, free from the suffocating weight of the world around you. Here, in the stillness, you are not judged. You are not influenced. You are simply you. Solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is the absence of others. Solitude is the presence of yourself. It is the moment when you stand alone and confront the vastness of your own mind. In this sacred silence, you can clear the fog of confusion and hear the voice of your true will. Do not run to the crowd to escape your thoughts. The crowd is a false refuge, a mirage that promises peace, but only deepens your inner turmoil. In the crowd, you are lost. In solitude, you find your essence. It is here that you can forge your thoughts with clarity, refine them with purpose, and move forward unencumbered by the noise of the world. The world will always try to pull you back into its frenzy, to make you forget the power you hold when you are alone. But you must resist. You must choose to be still, to listen to the silence, to hear the truth within. In solitude, you will not only find peace, you will find your strength. You will find the clarity that eludes you in the noise, and with it, the power to rise above the distractions of the world. Go through the pain of realization. There is a lie we tell ourselves, that if we avoid our fears, if we ignore our anxieties, they will simply disappear. But this is a fragile illusion, a coward's bargain. The truth, brutal and unrelenting, is this: your fears are not to be escaped. They are to be faced. They are the shadows that follow you, not because they wish to torment you, but because you have not dared to look them in the eyes. You cannot run from your fears. They are not a force outside of you. They are woven into the very fabric of your being. They are the dark corners of your mind, the silent whispers in your soul, the hidden truths you have long tried to bury. And so long as you refuse to confront them, they will consume you. But there is power in acceptance. There is power in realization. When you face your fears, when you accept them as a part of you, they no longer control you. They become a force you can wield. To accept your pain is not to surrender to it, but to conquer it. You do not need to be defeated by your suffering. You need to understand it, to break it apart, to see it for what it truly is. There is wisdom in the pain of realization. It is the crucible in which your strength is forged. When you stop running from the darkness and step into it, you begin to see the light that lies hidden within. Your fears are not the enemy. They are the gatekeepers, and they will only allow you to pass once you have proven your courage. So step into the fire. Embrace the pain of seeing your fears for what they are. Do not shrink from the discomfort, for in that very discomfort lies the freedom you seek. Only by passing through the pain of realization will you release the grip your fears hold on you. Only by accepting them will you transcend them. You will not be defined by your fears. You will be defined by your ability to overcome them, to embrace their truth, and to rise stronger than before. Let the pain be the catalyst for your transformation, and let the weight of your anxieties become the stepping stone to your liberation. Focus on the body to free the mind. The mind is a labyrinth, a swirling tempest of thoughts, fears, and desires that can trap you in endless cycles of confusion and doubt. But there is a simple truth. The mind cannot be freed through more thinking. It cannot be reasoned with, cajoled, or silenced by mere willpower. To release the grip of the mind, you must first release the body. The body is not a mere vessel, it is the gateway to the present. When you move, when you run, when you jump, you're not just exercising your muscles, you are reconnecting with the world outside your mind. Each step, each motion is a declaration that you are here, in this moment, alive. The body is the anchor that pulls you out of the storm of your thoughts and into the clarity of the present. Physical activity is not just a distraction, it is a reclamation of your power. You are not separate from your body, you are inseparable from it. To move is to affirm your existence. To run is to shake off the weight of your thoughts and to feel the world as it is, unfiltered and raw. Every leap, every stride, every breath is a rebellion against the tyranny of the mind, a declaration that you will not be bound by the prison of your thoughts. The act of physical movement is the antidote to the endless chatter in your mind. It is the silence that speaks louder than any thought. When you push your body to its limits, you create a space where the mind has no choice but to follow. The body leads, and the mind, finally freed from its own prison, can find peace in the rhythm of motion. Do not wait for the mind to quiet before you act. Begin with the body. Let it be the vehicle that carries you to freedom. In the sweat of your effort, in the pulse of your heartbeat, you will find the clarity that evades you in stillness. The body is not a burden. It is the key to unlocking. The mind, move, feel, and in that movement release the grip of thought. You will find that the more you focus on the body, the more the mind finds its natural balance. Avoid poisonous conversations. Words have power, a power far greater than we often realize. They are not mere sounds. They are seeds that take root in your mind, shaping your thoughts, your beliefs, your very sense of self. Each conversation you engage in, each word you allow into your soul, is a choice. You choose to invite them, to let them permeate your thoughts, to infect your spirit. But there are words, poisonous words, that slowly erode your peace, like a silent toxin. These are the words of fear, of doubt, of negativity. They come from those around you who, consciously or not, feed on your anxiety, your uncertainty, your vulnerability. Their words are venom disguised as concern, as advice, as casual chatter. They may seem harmless, but they are like slow-acting poison, creeping into your mind and distorting your reality. Do not be deceived. Your mind is sacred, a temple that must be guarded fiercely. Those who speak in ways that stir your anxiety, who nourish your fears, are like thieves in the night, stealing your serenity. You must cleanse your circle of these poisoners. Just as a temple is purified before sacred rituals, so must your mind be purified before it can function at its highest potential. It is not enough to simply avoid these toxic conversations. You must expel them entirely. Cut away the ties that bind you to those who feed on your fears. Surround yourself only with those whose words lift you, whose thoughts challenge you to become greater, whose conversations ignite your will to rise. This is not an act of cruelty. It is an act of self-preservation. You are not here to be a sponge for the negativity of the world. You are here to transcend it. To allow yourself to be consumed by the poison of others is to rob yourself of the power to create, to grow, to rise above. Cleanse your mind by cleansing your circle. Protect your spirit as you would protect a sacred flame. The words you hear, the conversations you partake in, are the very air that feeds the fire of your soul. Choose wisely. Let only those words that nourish your growth enter your mind, and let the rest fall away like dust, irrelevant and forgotten. Create a ritual for the cleansing of the mind. At the end of each day, when the world outside grows silent, when the darkness settles in, you are left alone with your thoughts. But how often are those thoughts heavy, cluttered, filled with the detritus of a day spent in distraction, in chaos, in mindless consumption? You carry the weight of every insignificant detail, every fleeting worry, every unimportant concern. Your mind is a landfill, and the trash piles up without mercy. But there is a way to free yourself. There is a ritual that can purify your mind, a daily act that has the power to restore your clarity, your peace, your strength. Every evening, before you surrender to the embrace of sleep, take 5 minutes to rid yourself of the clutter you have accumulated. Do not let the fragments of your day linger in your mind like a storm that will never pass. The thoughts that no longer serve you, the distractions that weigh you down, cast them aside as one would discard waste. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing in front of a great fire. See in your hands the thoughts that have poisoned your peace, regrets, fears, worries, doubts. These are the scraps that have no place in the sanctity of your mind. And now, with intention and resolve, throw them into the flames. Watch them burn, watch them dissolve into nothingness. Let the fire cleanse you, purify you, leave you free of the burdens that do not belong. This ritual is not an act of denial, but of release. You are not ignoring the past, nor are you suppressing your emotions. You are simply recognizing that these thoughts, these distractions, have no place in the space you are creating for your future. You are making room for clarity, for peace, for the power to rise. The mind, like the body, requires care, requires cleansing. Every day, you accumulate thoughts that are not your own, ideas that belong to others, worries that are not yours to carry. But you are the master of your own mind. You must refuse to let it be overrun by the chaos of the world. This ritual, this act of discarding the unnecessary, is your declaration of sovereignty. You do not simply let your mind be carried away by the winds of circumstance. You choose what you hold, and you choose what you cast aside. And in that choice, you become free. Destroy the illusion of permanence. There is a lie we hold dear, one that binds us to suffering and illusion, the belief that anything is permanent. The pain you feel, the thoughts that torment you, the worries that plague your mind, they all seem eternal. You carry them as if they will never cease, as if they are as fixed as the stars in the sky. But this is the greatest deception of all. Nothing lasts, not the joy, not the sorrow, not the thoughts that spin endlessly in your mind. Everything is fleeting, passing, dissolving into the ether with each breath you take. And yet, you cling to these illusions as if they were solid, as if they could be held, as if they could be made permanent. But they are not. They are the shadows on the walls of a cave, fleeting and unreal. To free yourself from the tyranny of your thoughts, you must first accept this truth. All things pass. The thoughts that seem so overwhelming now, the fears that seem so insurmountable, they will not last. They are temporary visitors in the vast expanse of your consciousness. If you can remember this, you will stop believing in their power over you. When you feel overwhelmed, when the weight of your thoughts seems unbearable, remind yourself of their impermanence. These moments, these thoughts, they are like clouds in the sky. They come and go, and you are not the cloud. You are the sky. You are the vast, infinite expanse in which all things appear and disappear. The illusion of permanence holds you captive. It convinces you that the pain you feel is forever, that the struggle you face is unending. But this is the most insidious of lies. Everything changes, the tides shift, the seasons turn, and so do your thoughts, your feelings, your challenges. They too will pass. The power to overcome lies in this simple recognition. When you realize that nothing is permanent, nothing is fixed, you begin to free yourself from the chains of attachment. You cease to identify with the passing thoughts, the fleeting emotions, the transient worries. They are not you. They are simply passing through, and as they pass, you remain unshaken, unbroken. Destroy the illusion of permanence, and you will begin to see the world as it truly is. A constant flow, a dance of change, a river that never stops moving. And in that flow, you will find your freedom. Be harsh with yourself, but with kindness. There is a brutal truth you must confront. The only person standing in the way of your greatness is you. The world will not coddle you, and neither should you. The path to transformation demands ruthless honesty, a sharp sword that cuts through the illusions you've built around yourself. You must be severe in your demands, merciless with your weaknesses, relentless in your pursuit of greatness. But here lies the paradox. This harshness must be tempered with kindness. For you are not an enemy to be destroyed, not a problem to be eradicated. You are your most loyal ally, the one who has been with you through every trial, every failure, every victory. And so, while you must challenge yourself, you must never forget the compassion that is your birthright. You are not a machine that can be pushed beyond its limits without consequence. You are flesh, you are spirit, and you are capable of both. Greatness and fragility. To demand too much without kindness is to break what is most precious in you. You must find the balance, be fierce in your discipline, but gentle in your care. Purge what is unnecessary, but do so with love, with an understanding that growth comes not only from the fire of struggle, but from the balm of self-compassion. In your quest for improvement, in your relentless drive to shed the unnecessary burdens of thought and emotion, you will stumble, you will falter, you will fall. And at those moments, it is not the whip of self-criticism that will lift you, but the hand of kindness. Remind yourself that perfection is not the goal. Evolution is. Each step, whether forward or backward, is part of the journey. And in the midst of your struggle, you must remember that you are not fighting to destroy yourself. You are fighting to evolve into something greater. Do not confuse harshness with cruelty. To be harsh with yourself is to demand more, to challenge your limits, to refuse to be complacent. But cruelty is to destroy, to abandon yourself. Be merciless in your pursuit of growth, but remember always that the one who is growing is the one who deserves your care. You are your own, most important ally. And while the world may be indifferent to your struggle, you must be both your fiercest critic and your most compassionate friend. In this balance lies the power to break free from the chains of mediocrity and to rise not as a perfect being, but as an ever-evolving force of nature. As you step away from these words, remember, the mind is a battlefield, and you are both the warrior and the conqueror. Every thought, every challenge is a chance to rise or to fall. Choose then to face them with strength, with compassion, and with the unshakable belief that nothing at all is permanent. Strive for clarity, shed the unnecessary, and embrace the beauty of your own growth. May you walk your path with purpose, and may each day bring you closer to the person you are destined to become. Keep fighting, keep evolving. The journey is yours.